A very good evening. You're watching India Today Go Live, as always, with me, Nabila Jamal. I'm going to take you through the roundup of today's news. Let me start with the howl over a BJP youth wing leader, Pamela, in West Bengal, who's been caught with 100 grams of cocaine. Now, this is, of course, has huge political repercussions here, considering that she's part of the BJP's youth wing, and Pamela now has been arrested possessing 100 grams of cocaine, which she now cries foul, saying that this is conspiracy by the TMC government, or that on one hand, which the BJP leaders are accusing. On the other hand, there is Pamela, who says that a BJP leader itself, this man called Rakesh Singh, she accuses him of actually conspiring against her. Rakesh Singh is a new leader of the BJP who's joined the BJP very recently, and she accuses the BJP leader itself within the party itself who's trying to conspire against her. But nonetheless, the police there in West Bengal are very stern. They say that they've been observing the movements of Pamela for quite a while now. In fact, allegedly she comes to one particular spot on a regular basis with her friend and then moves forward. So the police actually arrested her from a restaurant, from close to a restaurant where she was with another friend called Prabir Day, beg your pardon, and he was also arrested in this case. The court is hearing the matter. For now, it's adjourned. We are looking at this arrest now, having some serious opposition parties now commenting on this as well, saying that when Riya Chakrabarty's drug case came up, the NCB was brought down. They cracked down on this entire case, and Riya Chakrabarty was arrested for months together. And here is a BJP Yuva leader, and she is also arrested in a similar case with 100 grams of cocaine, and yet there's no action taken against her as yet. Even though she's still under arrest right now, what the opposition leaders say that ask for the NCB now to be involved, the Narcotics Control Bureau to be involved, and for the Narcotics Control Bureau now to pursue this case, like the way they did with Riya Chakrabarty. So we're looking at huge uproar over that arrest. Now let me quickly cut across to Andhra Pradesh. We're looking at Andhra Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy's sister Sharmila, who is now all set to float another political party in Telangana, the neighbouring state. Remember, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana was one state until very recently. They separated. Telangana is now a separate state. Andhra is a separate state, and Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy's sister now says that she wants to float a new party in the neighbouring state of Telangana. Remember, Jagan and Sharmila's father was a very famous politician. He was in fact the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, United Andhra Pradesh, under the Congress government. And right after his death, in fact, now they formed a new party. The YSRCP has now come into power in Andhra, and it seems like there's some tussle between the two, the brother and the sister. Exactly what is the issue between the two remains to be seen. But even though they have upfront, outrightly said, denied any allegations of rift between the family or the brother and sister, there are sources and rumors doing the rounds that there could be some fight between the two, that Sharmila is not very pleased with the ethics and principles of the YSRCP, and she wants to start her own party, float her own party based on the ideology, ethics and principles of what her father had followed and believed in. Now, this is what reports coming in from that front. Now, we're looking at Tamil Nadu. We're seeing several eyebrows raised after Kamal Hassan, who's now an actor turned politician. He runs the Makkalle Dimayam party. He has now met with Rajnikant for at least 45 minutes. He met with him, a nice indoor meet that they had. Now all questions are being asked as to what exactly this meeting was, and why have they met with each other, because these are two stalwarts and both of them wanted to take the plunge into politics. Kamal Hassan, of course, have been successful. I mean, what's been the outcome of the political party and how many seats they won, that's a different question altogether, but he's at least successfully right now contesting candidates in all constituencies. At least that's what he claims this time in Tamil Nadu assembly polls. But Rajnikant, he came close to it and then pulled back. Rajnikant said that he's going to jump into politics, but then later, after years of keeping the suspense alive, he finally came down to say that he's not feeling too well and therefore he does not want to get into politics. And of course, he raised concerns over Corona, the pandemic, and this is the assembly elections is coming near, and looking at the situation, it's not right to do so. So what raises raised his eyebrows is that Kamal Haasan always said that he wouldn't mind joining hands with Rajnikant. He would set his ego aside and then join hands with Rajnikant if he wanted to, but Rajni never responded to that. So this meeting now comes with great significance. Of course, Kamal Haasan has not commented on it either. Right after he came out, he said this is a general meeting and whatnot. Who knows what happens ahead of politics. Now, speaking of Tamil Nadu, we're looking at the EPS government. Edapadi Paliswamy has now pulled back, or at least withdrawn, 308 cases filed against people, at least 308 people who protested during the Jallikattu agitation. The Jallikattu agitation in 2017, there were several people who came out in protest in favor of Jallikattu, even though there was a lot of, hue and cry about allowing that sport to be alive. The matter was in court. Eventually, of course, those in favor of it won. Jallikattu is now allowed, of course, with certain restrictions over the COVID-19 pandemic. But nonetheless, we recently saw the event also take place with much pomp and fervor. And now the government has decided that they're going to be pulling back, withdrawing all those cases against 308 people. Now, it's not just about protesters related to Jallikattu. We're also looking at several protesters who were booked for violating COVID-19 guidelines during the anti-CAA agitation. Many of them were booked and filed cases against, and even the Kodankulam protest as well. So the government says that even these lakhs of cases have been filed over the last 3 years. So the government says that they're going to withdraw most of them as long as if there has been any action against the police that has been taken, or any violence against the police, then they will not be spared, but the rest of them will be protected and the cases will be withdrawn. Now, going over to Disha Ravi, who's a climate activist who's currently in jail. Remember, she was in 5-day police custody, and now the court has stretched it for another 3 days until the 22nd. They've prolonged her custodial period. Now, the reason for this is that police claim that Disha Ravi has been evasive. According to the police, that Disha is not divulging details. She's pinning the blame on the co-accused Shantanu and Nikita. She has also, according to the police, also deleted digital evidence that was there. And now the police say that they've roped in forensic experts to try and recover those digital proof that Disha Ravi may have deleted. And apart from that, they say that they also want to bring in Shantanu and Nikita and confront them face to face altogether. They will be investigated altogether. They'll be put in front of each other and then spoken extensively to see what exactly the situation is and what was the plan and modus operandi behind this entire toolkit. Now, this Delhi police also claims that Disha was very much in cahoots with pro-Khalistani group Poetic Justice Foundation to defame India. It was a hardcore propaganda that was being churned out to defame India. Poetic Justice Foundation was using this farmers' agitation to bring insult to India on the global platform and whatnot. This is the Delhi police's claims. Of course, Greta Thunberg has now come forward again, standing up for Disha Ravi, and with a hashtag saying "I stand with Disha." She has also spoken in her tweet. She has said, and I quote, that peaceful protests and freedom of speech are non-negotiable human rights. I stand with Disha. That's what she says. Greta Thunberg has been all in all outrightly supporting Disha Ravi and, of course, the farmers' agitation, and has always stood behind that toolkit, saying that there is nothing instigative or nothing violent in it, and she stands by it. So the police is now probing, calling this an international propaganda. Now, cutting across to the political situation in West Bengal, we're looking at the stage heating up immensely, and of course, communal color that we are seeing in West Bengal this time. And it's quite aggressive. We are looking at Kailash Vijayvargiya, BJP leader, who's now come out and made a very outright statement, insinuating what we exactly can't put in words, but here he says, he tweets, "Take a look at Bengal's equation. Pirzada Siddiqui is TMC's Deputy Chief Minister. Congress CPM Alliance Chief Ministerial face here is Abdul Manan, and Kolkata's Mayor is Firhad Hakim." Almost trying to say that most of these people who are at the helm of affairs are Muslims. So you can only imagine, he's not spelt it out, but these are from the Muslim community, but you can imagine where is Bengal heading now. Now, what he means, only he knows. Now, let me cut across to the Trinamool Congress, who's launched a new slogan for the upcoming assembly polls. Now, the TMC's new war cry translates to Bengal wants its own daughter. I wouldn't like to say it in Bengali myself because I don't want to ruin it, but it means Bengal wants its own daughter. So they're trying to, of course, fan this insider versus outsider campaign that the TMC is carrying out. They call the BJP outsider, they call themselves the insiders. So they want Bengal's own daughter back in power again. So this is the slogan that's being carried out, a whole makeover for Mamata Banerjee and the campaign that's being done by the TMC. And while this happens, we're looking at several film stars, both from TV and the large screen, the big screen and the small screen, joining the BJP. Remember, just recently a bunch of them joined the TMC. Now some of them have come out to join the BJP. Let me give you the names here. A host of them, including those who have joined the BJP now, include popular actors Yash Das Gupta, Hiran Chatterjee, Papia Adhikari, Somali Ghosh, Biswas, among others. And even right now, RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat is currently in talks with former TMC MP Mithun Chakraborty and BJP leader Anirban Ganguly. Now, meeting is also currently underway with, BJP leader Anirban is currently holding a meeting with actor Prasenjit as well. So, Prasenjit in fact spoke at the India Today conclave and he said that he is not going to be joining politics. He cleared the air. But now we're looking at BJP leader Anirban Ganguly also talking to Prasenjit. You never know what happens later. As we inch closer to assembly polls, we will see new names coming up. In fact, now those who have joined the TMC on the other hand, actors like Deepankar De, Khoshani Mukherjee, Bharat Kaul and Ronita Das. These are the actors who have joined the TMC lately. So we're looking at some hardcore fight happening in West Bengal. It's going to be definitely a match to see. A decade of Mamata's regime. Will the BJP come here? Of course, only time will tell. A quick word as I wrap here. Union Minister now, a very heartening story of how this Indian Olympian and shooter Manu Bakar, she was basically trying to board the flight. Air India stopped her right there. Did not allow her to board with all her equipment, with her rifles and whatnot. And that's when Kiren Rijiju, the Union Minister, came in and helped her. In fact, she accuses that Air India asked her for bribe to take her own equipment to travel. But of course, Air India denies this, saying that we were only asking her for permissions and letters and whatnot. We didn't ask her for money. But here the Olympian shooter Manu Bakar denies it, saying that they did ask her for bribe. But nonetheless, the situation is solved with the Union Minister now stepping in. That's it for me. Thank you very much for watching.